What's up, everyone? Welcome to Lowered Expectations. Thanks for lowering your expectations and hanging out with me here. I do appreciate it. In today's video, we are going to be using this Vevor Anemometer or airspeed meter and this Vevor carbon monoxide detector to check to see if the porting work that I did on my Vevor diesel heater fan housing actually had any effect. We are hoping that this increases airflow and therefore decreases carbon monoxide, but we're not actually sure if it's going to make any difference or if maybe it makes it worse. This is a factory or OEM fan housing, has both of the fans installed, and you can see it has a very restrictive inlet pipe. On mine, after modification, of course, the fans are removed and you can see there is a giant gaping hole and no more inlet pipe. So we are going to be using a Vevor 5 kilowatt diesel heater to do the testing. And if you guys are interested in any of this stuff, affiliate links will be in the description below. Both the anemometer and the carbon monoxide detector came in boxes like this. Not the best packaging job that I've seen Vevor do, but hopefully we didn't get any damaged goods. The anemometer comes with a carry case or storage case, an owner's manual, and 3 AAA batteries which are required, and it comes in this bubble wrap. I have not turned this on or put the batteries in it yet. I'm hoping that it's fairly simple to use. This is not going to be a detailed video. We are going to use this tool to do a test, but I'm not going to go into great detail on all of the settings and any of that. If you are interested, again, there is a link in the description below. You can go check out the product on the Vevor website. Now we are going to unbox the carbon monoxide meter. I have had one viewer tell me that they got one of these and the power button was stuck down. So they had to, I forget if they said they returned it or just got a new one. But I'm hoping that mine does not have any problems. Okay, it comes packaged a little better. It's in a carry case. Inside of the carry case, zipped carry case, we've got 3 batteries, a screwdriver, which we're probably going to need for the anemometer as well, and the carbon monoxide meter, and the manual. Okay, cool. I am going to install the batteries off camera and then we will get on to our testing. Some of you may have already realized that because the fan housing is modified, we're not going to be able to use the air inlet to actually compare these two fan housings. So what I'm going to do is actually use the exhaust port, but because the meter is plastic and will just melt, we're not going to be able to run the heater while we're doing this. So the solution that I've come up with, we are going to use the system that we use to power my ECU-less heater. We've got this series of light bulbs, and when I turn on the switch, one light bulb turns on, the fan turns at a very slow speed. I turn on the next switch, the fan turns a little bit faster, and third light bulb a little bit faster. If you haven't seen that video, I will leave it posted here. And I'm not going to go any further into the explanation except to say that we are going to use this system for both of the fan housings. We are going to collect the data for the low speed, medium speed, and high speed of the fan. Then we are going to actually test this heater, check to see what the carbon monoxide level is, and then we are going to swap over to the modified fan housing. We'll do the same airspeed test, see if it's any different, and then we will move on to checking the carbon monoxide level on that. I'm quite curious to see what the results are going to be. I'm going to try to do this test the same for both things, so I think I'm actually going to touch it up against. That way there's less room for error. So let's power it on in the low setting. 6.38 kilometers an hour. 14.08 kilometers an hour in medium, and now we're going to crank it up to high. 18.7. So now what we're gonna do is actually run this heater on diesel, check the carbon monoxide that's coming out of the exhaust. This is going to be a very brief test, so I am going to just be venting it inside to make the test easier. I wouldn't recommend that you do this. It's not the smartest thing to do, but I do have a carbon monoxide meter to tell me what the actual dangers are from the carbon monoxide, so I am not worried about it. I'm going to let these heaters go through the same warm-up procedure before checking the carbon monoxide, let everything stabilize so that we get a fair comparison between the two. The heater has now been running for about 20 minutes and the temperature has stabilized somewhere around 208 to 210. I'm now going to check the carbon monoxide. It is about 27 parts per million inside of my garage. I'm going to try to do this as scientifically as possible and measure the distance from the heater, so from the flange on the heater to 20 inches to the sensor. That way we can hold it there without it overheating and hopefully get some sort of average reading. So let's head on over there now. It's going to be a little bit noisy and annoying, but we've got to get it done. The 1 minute timer just went and we are at 57 parts per million. I saw it go as high as 61. I think the reason for the fluctuation is that the pump is actually changing or varying. So what we're going to do is call this a low of 46, high of 61, and then we are going to run the same test with the modified fan housing. We now have the heater set up once again to check the airspeed out the exhaust, except this time we have the modified fan housing. I'm seeing 10.12 kilometers an hour. 10.12. All right, here we go with the medium setting. I'm not sure why it's jumping around, but it's going between 18.0 and 18.7. It's steady right now at 18.48. We're gonna call it 18.5 as an average. Now for the max setting. Wow, 24.86. All right, 24.64 kilometers an hour. What I'm checking to see here is if the air from the exchanger fan, rather than the combustion air fan, can actually contribute to feeding extra air into the combustion area. Because of where the air inlet is now, it might actually be able to feed a little bit of extra air in. If we block this area off, and the air can't just escape out through here. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna plug up this hole as good as possible so that if there is any difference whatsoever, we will see it. I kind of feel like there should be a difference. Quasar, stop hitting my tripod. Hi. Do you need to come up and say hi to the people? Hey, do you need to say hi to the people? He's trying to get up. Where do you need to go? You want to go up there? You want to go up there? Oh, you just want to be held? He just needs attention. Apparently he just needs attention. Eh? Good boy. Good boy. Hi. Good boy. You want to get in the box? There's a box over here. You can get in it. What you doing there? What are you doing there? Eh? All right, let's turn these off. 9.6, 9.9. If it's gonna make any difference, I would assume it would do it at the high end. So we're at 9.02. And medium, where are we at? Oh, in medium it's higher for sure, 19.8. Basically the reason why it's making more difference as it goes faster is because at the lower speed, there is no, the more resistance there is to airflow in the exchanger, the more pressure will get forced through the burn chamber. I'm not going to go into detail explaining that, it's just the way it is. So now let's try it on high. This is where it will make the most difference. Oh yeah, 25.74. Uh-oh, 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 he's getting bitey. No, ow, 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 that's a sensitive spot, buddy. Why are you biting? Okay. So that is actually quite a substantial difference with or without the tape when it is at the higher air speeds. And again, the reason for that is because the higher the air speeds, the more the resistance to flow through the exchanger. And so the more it is going to actually force air through the combustion chamber. If I completely blocked this hole off, the outlet for the hot air, it would actually force even more air through the combustion chamber, but that wouldn't do us any good because then no hot air would come out. So what we actually have is at the lower air speed, it was 10.12 kilometers an hour versus 9.02. So that's actually worse. But at medium, we were 18.5 and 19.8. And in high, we were 24.64 and 25.74. So we're gonna run this test with the tape on and we'll see what happens. I'm not sure if any of this is going to actually equate to lower carbon monoxide, but we'll find out. About 20 minutes has passed and we are having a bit of an interesting result. The temperature has stabilized at 198 Celsius. If you guys remember from before, it was 208 or 210 Celsius. So what we're going to do is check the carbon monoxide now and see if those results back up what we are kind of getting from an initial overview or check of the heater. One minute has passed and we are at 17 parts per million. So that is pretty definitive. Oh, it just went up to 18. Wow. Some of you may have noticed that I made a mistake and actually ran the heater the wrong way around. I'm not sure how it didn't just leak out diesel fuel, but it didn't. So what I'm going to do is actually do this same test the other way and see if it makes any difference whatsoever. And we'll compare results that way. I don't think it's going to change anything. Okay, the test is finished. And we are at 15 parts per million. As you guys can see, not really any substantial difference there. I don't recommend running your heater that way because some diesel can come out the flame initiation hole, but it appears with this much airflow, it doesn't actually matter. If you run it in the lower settings, you could get into a lot of trouble. Well, there you have it, folks. These tools both did exactly what I wanted them to do. If you're interested in either of these or a diesel heater, there will be affiliate links in the description below. These two tools do have a bunch of additional features that I didn't use in this video because they weren't required, but there are hold features, maximum, minimum. This has an average wind speed. You can calculate, it will calculate, what is it? Wind chill for you and do a bunch of other things. So again, if you're interested, you can check out the links in the description below and look through the details on the Vevor website. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with these. They did, again, exactly what I wanted them to do. I am quite honestly shocked at how definitive the results were, even after seeing the difference in wind speed or air speed. I thought that it was going to be debatable at whether or not the carbon monoxide difference was because of maybe, you know, air temperature in the garage. I tested one after testing the other, so the air temperature be different and so on and so forth. But it is quite clear that the carbon monoxide is a result of the different airspeed or air volume, airspeed through the combustion chamber. And the lower heat, some people might be concerned about the lower heat coming out off of the exchanger. That doesn't mean that it's making less heat energy. The heat is being carried away. If we had a fan that was 10 times more powerful, the heat exchanger might only run at 100 Celsius, but that heat is being carried away into your airspace. So it doesn't mean that it's making less heat energy. It just means that the heat energy is being carried away more efficiently. That is all I have to say about this. I have been delayed in a bunch of my videos. I had a problem with my GoPro footage and wasn't able to release a video on my self-cleaning heater. I hope to get a video out on that sometime in the near future, but the next video that I will be releasing will be on this particular item. This is my new Vevor plasma cutter. It was sent to me by Vevor for a review, and I will be doing an unboxing and review of it pretty soon. I am going to do some practical testing at first and check and see how thick of a material it can cut and how clean it will cut. We will test it on 120 volts as well as 240. And then I'm going to do a second video where we do a little less practical but probably more amusing testing, where we try to cut a bunch of things that this was never intended to cut. So if you don't want to miss that, remember to subscribe. If you liked what you saw, please remember to leave a thumbs up on the video. If you want to support me on Patreon, there is a link in the description below. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Congratulations for making it all the way to the end of the video. As a reward, I'm going to share a little behind the scenes with you guys and let you know the real reason as to why my videos have been delayed or I haven't been posting many videos lately. Part of the reason was GoPro corrupted files, but I deal with that stuff every day and still manage to get videos out. The real reason is, as many of you will probably already know, Megan and I have gotten separated. And as a result, I've had to buy her out, basically get a mortgage on my house. And because of that, I won't be able to afford to do things like eat or make YouTube videos or much of anything else. And so that I can actually afford to do some things, including paying my mortgage, I've decided I'm going to live in the basement of my house and hopefully rent out the upstairs. Unfortunately, when we moved into this house, the basement was in horrible condition. It was listed as finished, but after we moved in and I started looking around a little bit more carefully, we found that there was a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't terribly safe, and so I basically ripped out most of the basement. Some of you may remember some of the footage from when I was pretending that the heat was out in my house. I had the heater coming in through the basement window. We'll go look at that room in just a minute here. But basically it is just on the other side of that wall. This used to have drop ceiling and I've now put up drywall. And I've spent the last week and a half building that wall, putting up drywall in both rooms, and I just finished mudding. I finished the first coat of mud yesterday, so I still have a whole lot of work ahead of me. As you can see, I'm going to have lovely concrete floors, but I'm going to have a place indoors where I can sleep and eat, and that's pretty much all that matters to me. So let's go take a look in the other room. Maybe you'll recognize it. So this door wasn't here before, but you guys may remember this kind of wooden wall. And yeah, the heater was coming in through this window and blowing the heat in through here. And I think I might have had a camera shot at some point in this direction, but this would have just been open space at the time. So as you guys can see, I've done a lot of work. Again, this used to be drop ceiling. The drop ceiling was all torn out, and this was just open floor joists and no drywall except for really crappy looking drywall that came pre-wallpapered. Maybe something from the like 70s or 80s. But anyway, this is what I have been doing. This is basically going to be my bedroom, and so now if I pump heat into here, the heat will be coming directly into my bedroom. So hopefully you guys found that a little bit amusing. Not the best situation in the world, but I'm trying to make the best of the situation regardless. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty positive about it. If I'm able to rent out my upper level at a reasonable price, that will give me a little bit of freedom. Yeah, it'll give me a little bit of a safety net so that I don't have to worry about every single penny. That being said, my videos are probably going to become a lot less frequent for a couple of reasons. One is I am heading into my seasonal job, which is fixing lawnmowers. And I'm going to have to stay very busy at that in order to actually pay my mortgage and have money to eat. So if you don't see videos happening on this channel or on my Joel Arsenault YouTube channel, you can assume that it's because I'm very busy doing other things, trying to make money. And until I get a little bit ahead and have some sort of safety net, I am going to have to just keep focusing on doing that, because the last thing I want to do is lose my house. So, thanks for hanging out with me here, and I'll see you guys when I have something else to show you. The next thing will be the Vevor plasma cutter. I have an obligation to make that video, otherwise I just don't have time to do it, but I've got to do it, so it'll get done. See you next time.